you're moving things around and you're not confident in what you're doing. Like you think if you move something the wrong way, you're just going to break something, which is pretty much untrue. So there's kind of that fear, hesitancy. You don't have the right tools. So that kind of just stops people in their tracks. They look at a bridge and they go, oh, these little Allen keys, I don't have that. I don't even know where to get it. So I'm not going to do it. You got to be a professional luthier to find that sort of equipment. So it just stops them. They don't know, like on this guitar, they don't know the relationship with the stop bar and the bridge. They don't know what either one of them is called. And they don't know what the function is with string height or string action or anything like that. So it's all a mystery whenever you're first starting out. So once you shed some light on this, on the setup process, it really becomes something, and just the gist. It's 3 or 4 really important steps. Once you shed light on the entire process, then all of a sudden you can do any guitar like the exact same way. And it really takes something that is mysterious to some people and makes it very clear, very straightforward, clear cut for us. Or for me anyway. I look at a guitar and I just think about the process it's going to go through. And I know at the end, I just know how it's going to play, how it's going to be. I just know that that the customer is going to be happy. Guitars come in, we talk about this all the time. They come in different, sort of by different owners, different categories. I don't know if that's the right word, but this is one that the owner is fearful of doing his own. So, and he's tried it. He's made a couple of adjustments and he just stopped. He just gave up and he said, I don't want to do the wrong thing. So he brought it to me. So that's where this is at. But this has already had all the general maintenance done. It's completely clean. And I think the only thing that we need to do on it is just do the measurements and adjustments, like the neck relief and then the string action, and then dial it in. This particular guitar, this Firebird right here, if there's any guitar out there that needs to be dialed in as far as its own little particular quirks and tendencies, this is it. This is you have to figure out where the sweet spot is guitar right here. If Gibson ever made an all chord guitar, this is it right here. We're going to have to do a good bit of maybe not a good bit, but we'll do some trial and error. Usually these things are finicky, but they'll have a particular spot that seems to work and you don't get a lot of buzz out of it. So I know this customer very well. He's brought me 5 or 6 guitars and he knows how to do all this general maintenance, all this stuff. This guitar is going to throw us a bit of a loop, a little bit of a curveball, because it's not a real gift. This is actually an Epiphone that's been made to look like a Gibson. We'll see what's going on with it. I'm thinking imperfect frets. I don't know what's going on with it. The pickup height's a little bit off, but anyway. Okay, so if you want to see detailed slides and stuff on setups and all the processes, you can go through the course, through the guitar setup mastery section of the Guitar Repair Business Starter course. And I would recommend that you go through the videos one by one. The videos are still relevant. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you all the steps to a setup, but specifically on a couple of different guitars. And we're going to try to get 2 guitars finished tonight, hopefully, because I think this one is going to be really easy. I think it's something I can process and get out of here. Okay, so initial inspection, when a guitar comes to you, you can't just accept anything. You don't want to just accept anything. You want to accept all the guitars that you can so you can make all the money that you can, but you don't want to accept every single headache out there. So there's a couple things you can do when customers drop it off. You can definitely recommend, we'll go through this later with customer service, to do a visual inspection of the guitar and just see that it's normal looking and not missing tons of parts or it's got a gigantic hole in it or something. But the initial inspection is all about saving yourself time in the long run. You want to go through this guitar quickly. And since it's saving yourself time in the long run, you don't want to spend a lot of time on this. So don't get bogged down in this part of the setup because it's not the part that pays the bills. But you want to make sure that you don't spend a ton of time setting up the guitar and then it's still broken in the end, because then you've wasted your time. And you can't really charge your customer for a guitar that you give them back broken. So we're going to look at some main things here. One, that on electric guitar, that all the electronics are working, or else you're going to have to probably let the customer know that something on the electronics is broken, and you're also going to need to fix it. Make sure that the nut is working, all the tuners look good, and that they're working. That's pretty much it, really. That the bridge is all in one piece. You'll notice that different guitars will have different kind of things that you need to look over. It's totally making noise. You can almost just make a quick judgment about guitars. If they're new, you know they're going to be good. If they're really junky and dirty and stuff, you may want to look closer and drop off. This guitar I know is going to be good. Yep. Well, it works perfect. Everything looks great. So we'll move on with the setup. If there was something that I needed to replace, like that, before I could even move forward, then we need to get this first and then do this. And this is going to cost a certain amount of money. So I'm real curious as to what plays like. And see if we can hear some buzz. It's almost got a little bit of buzz in the open position. Could just be the wobbliness of the guitar. All the round strings are all buzzy. You can press with your finger and see what type of distance you have between the bottom of your string and the first fret. And this one ain't got much. So it tells me that initially I'm thinking that the nut may be a little bit too low. Either that or maybe the neck relief is off, because sometimes if a guitar neck is too straight, which I think this may be it, then the string doesn't have even enough room to clear the first fret. So that could cause buzzing. So one of the first things you want to do is check your neck. So buzz on the A string, 3-5, a little bit of buzz on the D, 3-5, a little bit on the G as well. Total quacky on the B. Can't even fret the E. So this is the reason why it came in. String action on the high E is 0. The string action on the low E is 1 millimeter. So it needs some neck relief, it looks like, and it needs some string height. Let me go ahead and take measurement neck relief. Normally, I guess we should have gone to the first part of this. On the Pacifica, we'll do some detailed general maintenance. This guitar already had all the general maintenance done, so the frets have been polished. It's all, the fretboard was all oiled, and he put on a new pair of strings. So he did all that, put on a new pair of strings, and that's where I'm at right now. But he couldn't get it to play. It's in tune, so we can check the neck relief. And to do that, we're going to do a capo at the first fret and a finger at the last fret. You can't see something because you've seen it a million times. Okay, so as far as neck relief goes, put a capo on the first fret, and we're going to put our finger, you can see that on the last fret, and then we're going to stick the 0.010 right on top of the ninth fret and below the low E. You have to do this while the guitar's in tune because you want the proper amount of string tension on there, because the string tension is what gives you the neck bow. This one didn't have any neck relief whatsoever. So it's almost completely straight. There was like a little bit in there, but I've got this guy to deal with. The old I'm not complaining because I like this guitar, but this is an oddball a truss rod cover. They always are. Haven't used Stumac steel. Get a screwdriver set. You should, because you get all the right heads like for these screws, which will be the most troublesome ones if you don't have the right screwdriver set.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. You
Great.
said that's an Epiphone, didn't you?
Yeah, we're gonna see right now.
It's funny that you're doing that guitar today because I have the exact same one and I was working on mine 2 days ago and
Oh
I had the
yeah.
same problem with the neck relief and the action and everything. So it's going to be a very good guitar to work on
Right.
because I'm running through some problems myself.
I'm glad we got
Yeah.
that connection. Okay, so
Yeah, I had a hard time getting on today.
we look in here. I know that we're not going to find that Gibson nut, the 5/16. What we're going to find is a 4 millimeter, which is fine. It's what all the Epiphones use. We're going to be loosening the truss rod, which means we're going to be, when you're looking at this thing, we'll be going to the left. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. I need to give it probably 2 turns by my calibration. And now I'm going to just check it immediately again. Maybe like 1 more turn. I think that the guy who owned this guitar, I may have just turned it as far as it will go, honestly. Sometimes you get that truss rates. And magically now, it's right where it should be. So I kind of loosened it until you couldn't feel it loosen anymore. That was perfect. Oh, okay. So then my string action is going to change after you do your neck relief. That's why you do that first. I know it's going to be way too low, but we'll go ahead and check it. Way too low. But the low side isn't far out. On this guy, Epiphone sometimes has a little better design to me than Gibson because they'll almost always give you a way to adjust your bridge from the top. And this one has it. This one has a little Allen wrench. I just got to find the right one. And again, Stumac screwdriver set, it will have it somewhere in there. Counterclockwise will bring it up. It works very smoothly. I'd recommend doing it from the top rather than doing the thumb wheels. Whereas Epiphone will have a better design up here. The thumb wheels usually don't work. Not that good anyway. Sometimes Gibson will nail it on the thumb wheels, and you'll have a guitar that it works really good. The thing I noticed about Epiphones was on this neck angle, Epiphone will have it where you have to raise the bridge really high, but Gibson will have the neck angle so the bridge is at a normal height. It'll be a little more well thought out. Everything's starting to feel a lot more normal in there. The action, if I measure it at the 17th fret, with this guy, I just put it right behind the strings. Whoa. Low E was kind of high, up that high. You want to set your low E, so you're looking at it and it's just like 1.6 millimeter, just a hair above 1.5. Or on this one, it's more like 1.75. And then goes to 1.5 on the A. I'm going to lower it a little bit more. Okay. I'm like at 1.5. A little bit higher on the low E. That's just the way the bridge sits. And then I'm going to put the unwound strings on 1 point. Okay. Get it tuned up. One of these tuners. We'll play the guitar real quick and see how it plays, if there's any buzzes. I still haven't stretched the strings, so we'll do that. Let's kind of check it right now. Like on the first fret, low E. And I'm willing to forgive that because the rest of it sounds great. I'll find some uneven frets if I look, though. Like run this to you. So I could hear a little bit of it. Not much, but a little bit. It's going to be like right here, right there. Not that much, but a little bit. Okay, sweet. Not that bad. Okay, I'm happy with this. I don't know that I want to go any lower because it's like right on the edge. 1.5 everywhere, and it is like right on the edge of buzzing. So I don't think I'm going to go any lower. Make sure that none of this stuff up here is quacky. If it was quacky up here, you'd want to straighten the neck. Somewhere in here, there's a uneven fret. And right there. Yeah. It's not bad, but it's there. Okay, we'll go ahead and stretch these strings. Hold on to pickup response. Yeah. So you're gonna definitely raise them up if I can. It needs to happen. It's just not a lot of volume. I might not have my amp cranked up either. But... So as far as pickup height, you can do it by ear, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can do it by measuring, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like to do it by eyesight, and I'm not trying to be lazy about it. I think it's just very doable to do it by eyesight. I'm going to put your finger at the very last fret, because whenever this guitar is fretted, the bottom of the string cannot touch either one of the pickups, obviously, because you would die out. Your fret would die out. What I'm looking for is a couple of millimeters, like 2 millimeters, from the bottom of the string to the top of the pickup. And you're going to have it even going across, maybe. Make sure you use the right screwdriver. He might have got into this one with the wrong screwdriver, and now the screw is, straight. Because the screwdriver was a little too big. Could probably swap that screw out for it. Yeah, do it tomorrow. That would be a nice touch. I'll let him know that I'll find him a screw and I'll swap it out. Let him know that I did that. This pickup was like, he had changed this side of the pickup drastically. It was different than this pickup. This side, and I know he's stripped it. So I can just look at it and tell us. I'll change that out for him. Okay, this should have a lot more volume in there. It's slinky, these guitars. Put it up any higher. I'm going to raise this bridge pickup. I think I'm at the end of my spring. I got a feeling that it's going to be correct. My feelings just went out the window there. So I'm taking a closer look at this. So for intonation, with these Gibsons, you usually need a flat head. And Stu-Mac's got you covered as far as having right size. On a Gibson, your adjustment screws are always going to point that way towards the neck. And I'm going to go ahead and play the note open and then fret it at the 12. Fret it at the 12, and then we'll see what we get. It can either be flat, it can either be three things: spot on, flat, or sharp. Spot on, we're not going to touch it. If it's flat, we're going to need to shorten the string, and if it's sharp, we need to lengthen the strings. Yes. You also, whenever you do intonation, you really need to put it upright. It does make a difference. So I'll put it upright. Hard to demonstrate this way. That's going sharp. So we need to move this backwards. We need to lengthen the string, so we're going to move this saddle that way. We'll always get that wrong in the first time. We'll check it again. Great. It doesn't move at all. This one's actually going flat. So we got to go the other way with this one. I don't think he's been too perfect. So I had to go counterclockwise with that. I'll go clockwise. He's going sharp. I tested those 3 strings all at once because I'm going to probably move them all at once. Awkward movement. Awesome transformation of this too, so the customer should notice that it's going through some changes. It plays great, plays nice. Intonations also. He likes to record stuff for Facebook, so geez, this was a nightmare. This thing doesn't fit correctly, and that's the reason it's giving me so many problems. Or it's sticking a Gibson part on. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Crap. Okay, I can find it. I have others. Okay, let's do the next. These guys are the GOAT Pacifica. These are big for a lot of at least 1 a month, maybe 2. Sometimes I have more than one of these guys. Okay, so this guy needs end strings. I think the story on this was, oh no, he has had this guitar for several years, never played it, never really fell in love with it, never fell in love with guitar at all. He put it under his bed, and now for some reason he wants to learn again. You can tell it's friendly, but you can tell that it's off, and it is. The string action is really wonky, and the neck relief seems too straight. The action is too high, and the neck is too straight at the same time, which is a little weird, unfathomable. But okay, so let's get this guy playing good. It does need everything. It needs dusty, general maintenance, fret polishing. Maybe even needs some electronic work. So anyway, I'll go ahead and plug this in to make sure it's working. The initial inspection is that it's a new guitar that's just been collecting dust. It really doesn't look, it looks like these are the strings that came with it. They're bent in a way where I think these are the same strings that were born with it. This knob over here, this volume knob, is extremely thick. It makes me think that it's too tight or something. Maybe just the set screw needs to be loosened. And this one is too loose at the same time. So this is too tight, too loose. Very scratchy. Volume pot is scratchy. Tone pot is not scratchy. The switch is not. It has a bit of scratch to it. Get that there real quick. The set screw on this is an Allen. Try to find it real quick. But it's really annoying. But just loosen this up and reposition it. It is like it's harder to turn than the tone. So for some reason they put a really easy to turn knob with a really hard to turn knob. Okay. Go ahead and get these strings off. They told me that they wanted their strings. And then go ahead and check the tuners at the same time. Maintenance is definitely a thing. And we've kind of gotten more into it. You check to make sure that everything is tight. Also check to make sure your bushings are there and working. Bushings, those little white things that are in between the peg and the stem. I guarantee you that I bet these are loose. Yep. They just loosen themselves up. I think that would definitely affect tools. The truss rod is in there, obviously. I think it's either 4 or 5. Yeah. Look at not much. Look at there's just dust and stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll hit some steel. Get the shiny again. Like a little bit of patina on them, and the steel wool just makes them shiny again.
Hey Eric, it's Neil. How are you?
Good, good. How are you, sir?
Good, mate. I wonder if you could help me. I've got a guitar that is really worn on some of the frets, but only on the only on the high side. And you've got real quite pronounced divots in the fret.
Yeah.
Do you just file them down until we've got no divots in them, or?
Well, it depends on how deep they are, because sometimes you feel like if you go all the way to the bottom, then you're not going to have any fret left. So
Yeah.
I'll maybe split the difference and usually make the judgment call myself.
Yeah.
As far as to how
Okay.
well should go, but I almost never go all the way to the bottom.
Okay. Thanks for that.
So I put oil on there. It didn't really need oil, but it makes it look fresher and everything. So it's one of the things that the guy will see whenever he comes picks up his guitar. It's a problem that happens often, actually. I find that happens all the time. Got a string like this, a tremolo like this, and you're pushing on it, and it won't go down. You're like, it won't come out. All the other strings do, or some of the others do, but some get stuck. That one's stuck. Okay. What I like to do is if you have Allen wrench or something laying around like this, just poke through there like that, loosen it up. That almost always happens with PRS bridges. Firing ball step today. I had to get out my Allen key set. Definitely glad that I had it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the tool maintenance on this. I noticed that the volume was scratchy. There are two different types of pots. Tone is a Pacifica, know that. It's definitely going to be a different brand. The more scratchiness than this. Followable. Different brand, different action. Feeling and like ridge is going to be two different saddles or two. I've got some easy tuners. Oh, ones that pop. Give yourself enough room to wrap it. Well, 1.5 to 2 times around. Anything more than 2, I think, some waste. It's probably over torquing the tuner. So if you're used to wrapping a bunch of wraps on there, it's messy. Tuning this thing and keeping it on the bridge at the same time. If it starts to cock up, then I'm going to have to undo the back plate and tighten the springs. It starts to cock up. It's difficult for me to show this. But this edge right here is starting to separate from the body in the back. So there's a big gap that's formed here in the back. Well, it's because the bridge is cocking up. The reason for that is because we don't have enough spring tension. So we got to adjust that. Thought I was going to get away with not adjusting the springs. A tremolo guitar, before you can start on the meat, potatoes, setup, have to do the spring. You have to balance it from almost decked out, almost all the way in. I don't think it needs to be. And the bridge looks right here. There's a bit of a float. It's almost like the perfect bridge float. It's just maybe 1 millimeter from the back of the bridge to the body. Perfect. It's in tune. So we're going to leave it like this. And probably go ahead and put this back on. Now that the guitar's in tune, we can go ahead and check the neck relief, which I think, I'm going to guess and say it's going to be close to normal on this right now. Nope, not normal. It needs to be loosened, just like the other one did. Just like the last guitar. We use a 4 millimeter. Had to have the short one. It turns really easy once you have the right wrench. So a bit of a gap there. So we've got our neck relief. We'll go ahead and check the string action. It's terrible. It's really too high by about double. We'll lower this by that. I expect once we lower these strings, the tension is going to be lower, and this bridge is probably going to go down a little bit too. I mean, all these lights make it very awkward to see things. This is going to make a dramatic difference to this guitar. The reason the guy never played it is because it was terrible. I'm not going to skip the setup this time. Lowering the strings, just the ass that played. This lady came by this week and asked me, will you just watch me and watch me hold the guitar and make sure I'm doing it? Okay. Had to give her like a pep talk. Guitar, it's hard. Apply your willpower. You gotta not quit. Going for 1.5. I may be a little too low on these low strings. Stretch these guys. It plays like a 100% different guitar. Feels like a different guitar. The other, whenever it came in, it felt like a toy that hadn't been played yet. But they're actually really nice. We got 4 cools that are pulling on it right here. These 2 cools and these 2 cools. We all need to go a little bit lower. It's just right there, ready to shake. One of the only situations you have to do that, even. I got rid of it totally, and I had to lower the pickups down pretty significant too. Anyhow, a guitar can just be messed up completely, have the worst setup. And then the intonation will be perfect, just spot on. Okay, I gotta get going. And maybe a few more things I do to this guitar, like cleaning it a little bit better tomorrow. Right, since the totally position wrong. Any questions? I think this one's about ready to go back to the owner. All right, guys, so I'm going to go eat. Starving. I'll post this recording up tomorrow. And I'll see you guys later. I'll be in Thursday, and I'll be in the 24/7 hangout, maybe tomorrow, maybe definitely Thursday.
Cool. Okay. See you later, Eric.
All right.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Eric.